two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And this is our second YouTube Live. You know what I mean? Second one. And I'm excited as I was on the first one. Maybe a little bit more.
Last week was dope. Last week was fire.
And shout out to everybody who was on the last one or saw the last one. Shout out to everybody who's watching the replay. This is going to be a vibe. First and foremost, it's March 9th, so we do have to recognize this is the day Biggie passed. So this is a New York thing, of course, so we always have to recognize that. Favorite Biggie joint, go.
Juicy. I mean, it's a classic.
Oh, that's so...
Yeah?
That's so, obvious. It's like... You can't give me an obvious one. Can't give me an obvious. Give me another one.
What about... Wait, can you list one? Because I'm trying to see, like, what else would you consider obvious? Ten Commandments also considered like an obvious
More
one?
money, more problems is obvious.
Okay, fair.
Juicy is obvious, and Big Papa is obvious.
Okay. What about 10 Commandments?
Fair.
Okay.
Fair. I'm going to go with Sky's the Limit.
Nice.
Just saying.
Nice. I actually watched his documentary on Netflix on Sunday. I know we talked about it.
I need to watch that. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. I didn't watch it.
I was going to text you about it. I was like, yo, you're actually going to like this. They did a pretty good job shooting it. It was cool.
I'm supposed to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight. Yeah. It's going to happen. It may be a late night. Shout out to our night owls. Shout out to the night owls. First and foremost, please share this as we go along. Text this to somebody and be like, yo, this is a fire live. They talking about some real stuff. Go do that. So that's the first and foremost. Second, episode 23 is out. Hey. Man, we talked about a lot of stuff. It was an eventful
last week. Yeah, it was an eventful week. Had a lot going on.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out the podcast, we talked about Jay-Z again. No, we are not a Jay-Z podcast, but we talked about Jay-Z again. We talked about Space Jam 2. We talked about NFTs. We talked about Coming to America. We just talked a whole lot of stuff. Oh, look, Chris came through. Oh, see, what's happening here? Hold on, let me get this right. There we go. He says Sky's the Limit 2 and One More Chance. Okay, all right. That's almost super commercial, but I'll give you that. Chris. I give you. Okay, so what we talking about today, Moose? What we doing?
Man, so I think today it's really a great opportunity for anyone, as always, personal brand, entrepreneur, expanding your brand or your business. Obviously, there is a big part of the equation that relies on people trusting you. Yeah. Now, we've heard it time and time again. People buy from those that they know, like, and trust. Right? It's a cliche saying, but I think although it's the last thing or the last trait that's mentioned in that phrase, it's probably the most important, right? Okay. And it probably happens earlier, right? Like it has to happen pretty early before someone can actually buy from you. Right. So I wanted to flip it on its head today. And really, as we, and I've been paying attention a little bit more online just to what's happening in social world and how people are interacting and moving since the pandemic and all of that. And I'm noticing, I'm like, man, I can see why there is a lack of trust.
Okay.
Just as it's important for us to know what to do, I think it's equally as important for us to recognize what to avoid or what not to do.
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring that up. I have a couple things. I'm sure you got a couple things from what you see on a daily basis. Man, what are people doing wrong that you see that's making their audience or their customers and clients not trust them? They're just like, nah.
So, I mean, we could go back and forth with this one. I think one of the biggest things is, and even though it is good for like exposure and numbers and everything like that, jumping on trends almost makes it to the point where I don't necessarily trust you, because are you just here for the clout and just here to get numbers, or are you really here for me? Like, wow. I'm not, and shout out to everybody who jumps on the trends. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? But there's some people that jump on it and don't really transform it to their brand. And so it just looks like, oh, you're just doing this dance, you're just doing this skit, you're just doing this meme just 'cause. But I really can't connect with it. I know it's trending. I know this is what we're talking about, but I can't really connect with it. So whatever your call to action is next, whether it is to share it, to buy it, whatever it is, I don't know if I necessarily trust the brand, because you're not necessarily showing me the solution. It just shows me that you're trendy. And I don't know if trendy is necessarily the solution I'm looking for when it comes to the brand and the business. I'm just,
yeah, I can see that. Let me ask you a question here, actually. Do you think the way social is right now, is that just a trend, or is it here to stay? Reels, TikTok, dances, the pointing at, different pieces. Do you think that's just a phase of how social will be, or this is just, for the most part, what we can expect moving forward?
I think it's a season. I think like the short form videos is a season. I think the way our attention span is, and kind of like bite-sized stuff, right now has our attention. And so we have to think about it from a standpoint of, a lot of us start with long form video if we do video, right? So how do we get people to see us on the long form? We got to kind of give them like a taste test. So the short form video gets you to like an introduction to us in a very quick way to see if I like you or not, because we don't necessarily have the time at all. Like, I can't really watch, like the people who are watching live right now have like consumed some type of content from us that is like, yo, I could watch this whole live, right? But they watch little bite-sized content first and foremost, whether it was a reel, whether it was an IGTV, a clip, something like that, right? So I do think that some of the features now are a season, but I think the format is kind of the same, because we still need that introduction to who you are and see if we're going to commit later. That's my thing. I don't know. Yeah,
that's a good. I have a lot of questions on this. So, and I'll back up just one more time, and then we can move on. But what's the fine line? Actually, no. Let me ask you this. This is a bigger question.
Okay.
What should someone do after getting, let's say, one of their reels makes it on the Explore page? So they're getting a lot more views than they typically would. So maybe I'm not the clout chasing, trendy type of person, but I just wanted to have fun. I tried this one trend. Yeah. It was a hit for me, and I got a lot more eyes than I normally get.
Yeah.
What can I do to earn people's trust, or at least say, hey, give me another shot. Don't just utilize this one video as a way to maybe make a final judgment on who I am, or how I do business, or what my brand is about. What would you suggest to be the next thing with that trust in mind? What can someone do to keep eyes on them and start building more rapport and trust?
So I think it really has to do with catering to them. So actually, I talked about this on my live yesterday. Shout out to all my IG people. Hold on.
Hey.
Shout out to everybody on IG, right? But we have to remember people come in cycles. So those people who come and watch, whether it's from Reels, whether it's from, any of the short form videos, and now you have a whole bunch of eyes on you, you have to cater to them. You have to get them to know who you really are and what do you want to be known for at the end of the day, right? So what does that mean? That means like multiple pieces of content of what is their pain point, what is the solution, who has backed you up, all that great stuff for what is the real reason why you're online. Just because you got the attention doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the same dance over and over again. At some point, we have to get them from a new to a buyer, to somebody who commits in some way, shape, or form, whether it is, because some people are not just selling something. So whether it is a follow, whether it is going on your website, whether it is the email and things like that, we have to get them to a commit standpoint. But the only way they're going to do that is if they get to know you and get to really know you on a consistent basis. You can't just show up one time and then be like, I got you, appreciate you, goodbye, right? No, can't do that. You have to show up consistently. And I'm almost tired of saying that, but at the same time, it's important for people to understand, and it's the very basic, because those people who are like, okay, I get it, I got to show up consistently, are not showing up consistently. So you can understand it, you could get it, but a lot of us skip the very basic thing that is going to get us to an extra 1,000 people, an extra hundreds of people on our website, extra hundreds of people buying our product or service, if we just are that consistent in people's lives. And that is one of the main things with trust. Like, are you who you say you are? Are you showing up like you said you would, right? And is the product or service exactly what you said it was? Like, if there's a disconnect in any of these things, they're not going to trust you. It's going to take a minute until they reconsider.
Wow. Man, that's good. That's good. And of course, I'm saying shout out to everyone who's watching us live. I see we got a good amount of people plugged in with us. Shout out to y'all, man. Yeah, we appreciate you. Drop something in the comments, by the way, just so we can see who else is here with us.
Facts.
If you're not here live and you catching this on the replay, hey, join us on the live, okay? We here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, coming out with some more fire. Nicky, let me play devil's advocate here for a moment. Now,
Okay.
Of course, the title of this is the things that you're doing wrong that's making your audience not trust you, or overall why your audience is not trusting you. So I hear you on the consistency tip.
Yep.
Right. And like you said, you've been screaming it from the top of the mountains for a minute now.
Yep.
What about the ones who are like, yo, but I don't want my audience to get tired of seeing me or to get tired of my same message. Like I push one mission, I push one product, I push one service. I don't have many things in my pipeline yet. I don't want people getting tired of me. What's your response?
Hold on. Because I see the Puerto Rican flag, so I gotta flip the hat. I see you, Chris. You know what I mean?
Come
I
on
see
with
you,
it.
Chris. It is what it is. Anyway, my bad. What'd you say?
You said, oh, sorry, I forgot the question.
Yeah, my bad. The flag
Quick,
came out, so I was like, all right.
Quick PR parade real quick. No, it's cool. No, I'm just saying, what about some of those people that are like, man, like I hear you on the consistency tip, but I don't want my people to get tired of me. Like me showing up every single day, pushing the same mission, pushing the same message. I feel like people are gonna get tired of me. What's the response to that, or what's the approach to that? I'm sure, is there another way to look at it?
So, shout out to Imani. I always gotta shout her out when she's here. But there's what she said right there with the blame the algorithm. That's one of them, right? We can't assume that every single piece of content that we drop, everybody watches it. We can't assume that. We have to understand that majority of our content that we drop, there's not necessarily a schedule. We're really trying to figure out peak times and what works and everything. So we can't sit here and expect when we drop, everybody stops what they're doing and watches us. Yes. Like they're going to catch it when they catch it, right? Or like she said, the algorithm might hit, or they just weren't online at that time. Like we can't really think that the whole point, I'll put it like this. And I said it in one of my posts, there's a lot of trash crap out there, like on social media on a regular basis, like flooding it, right? And for some reason, we're not saying, yo, why is there so much of that? We're either really entertained or really turned off and keep it moving, right? To combat that, we have to flood the streets with our content, right? If not, we're always going to get beat by what is already out there. So whether it's somebody who truly sucks and is deemed number one in our lane, or is just getting all the attention and is kind of negative, or just something that we don't necessarily agree, we have to actually put out a good amount of content just to understand, one, not everybody sees it at the time that we want to. Two, we're attracting new people all the time. So maybe our day one saw it, but our day 974ers are just brand new to it, right? So we have to understand that. Three, we have to understand that some people are ready to receive the information now compared to when you said it a week ago. Okay, we're all we receive knowledge in different times. Just because Moose told me something doesn't mean I was ready to receive it. It was on his heart to say it. It was on his mind to put out the content, whether it was part of his content strategy or whether it was just on his heart. That doesn't necessarily mean because I'm listening, meaning I'm ready to receive it. So at the same time, I have to always, when I'm putting out messages, whether it's for E, whether it's for myself or whatever, or for us, I have to remember that we could transform, we could wrap that up in so many different ways, because whether it is, let me see who's in here. Big Dog Sean is ready to receive it today, but Pabone isn't. Like, so I may have to tell him again next week in a different way. Maybe my tone has to be a little bit different. Maybe I have to be a little bit more aggressive or less aggressive. Maybe I have to break it down in words, or maybe I just have to be more visual. But it's never too much to say our brand story, our message over and over again, because we have a cycle. And there's so many multiple reasons why people may not have seen all of it. Now, for those real tribe members, they want to see it. So are you going to not put it out because you think they don't want to see it when you didn't even ask if they wanted to see it or not? If they don't want to see it, they'll keep it moving. That's not really up to you to be like, I put too much out. I'm not doing it. I can't do it today. I don't want to. No, what?
Yeah.
Go away.
Wow. Okay. I see you. You came with the bag today. That's good,
Yeah,
Nix.
right.
I like it.
Yeah, right.
I like it. That's good stuff. No, that's solid. That's solid. And shout out to our brother POP in the comments, man.
Okay, so
great
hold on.
brother.
I have a question. You're not gonna hit
Okay.
me all with all the questions. You're not.
Well, no, I actually. No,
Go ahead,
I do have something that I want to kind of back it up with, though, and I would love, and of course I'm always open to answer your question and dialogue with that too. But I'm wondering, and maybe you could share this sometime a little bit later. but you've done a phenomenal job. I mean, for not to just kind of give you credit on the air, but you've done a phenomenal job growing each page, even consistently. Like I think for consistency. So I'm wondering, have you seen any patterns with a larger platform? Like, does it? Because I feel like people assume that, oh, once you've become big, then everyone knows you. And I don't believe that that's necessarily true. Like there's 2 billion people on the internet. Even if you have however many followers, there's still a lot more people out there who don't know about you.
Yeah.
Does it become easier or more difficult to earn people's trust when you have a larger platform?
I wouldn't say either or. I think it's just it's the same kind of vibe regardless of the audience count, because you still have the same cycle. You still have the whole people who don't know you, the people who just got introduced to you, the people who are a bit warm, and the people who are your tribe members, right? And have the notifications on and things like that, right? There's somebody always being introduced to E every single day. I could go down the street and be like, yo, you heard of Eric Thomas? They're like, who is this man you talk of? Like, I don't know him, right? And so there's always somebody who has way more followers than E, not because they're better, is because they don't know of E yet. And that's how I always look at it. I never look at it from a standpoint of they know how to market better, they have better skills or anything like that. They just haven't been introduced to E just yet. But when they do, they'll be stuck. They'll look at his morning videos and be like, okay, I definitely needed that. And once again, everybody has their season of hearing your content. So there's some people that are like, okay, maybe I'm on the go. I got the information and I'm out, right? There's some people who will do that and then come back when they're ready to get that motivation again. There's some people who are just like, I need the motivation every day. I'm not even going to play. I'm not going to say that this is a season. Like, so it's really just always putting out that content that I know people really came for. Like, we could try so many different things, but at the end of the day, they come for the motivation. They come to get inspired. They come to get that, like, battery charge. And I'm going to keep doing that every single solitary time.
That's dope. That makes sense.
So, could I ask my question now?
Please, yeah, please.
Yay! Let me put him on the spotlight. So, from a flight assessment standpoint, from pilot, flight attendant, grounds crew, air traffic controller, like, what helps people build each one of their trust? Like, understanding when we have an audience, we really have 4 types of audiences, right? Now, maybe we're not building that trust with our audience because we don't know those keywords. We don't know what really triggers somebody to trust them, right? So if I'm talking to a grounds crew, what do I have to do, right, when it comes to just keywords or just actions or whatever that will be like, this is what probably is going to make them trust you a little bit more? Yeah. So a great question. You know what I love about the flight assessment, it's really like the real estate equation of humans, right? Because it's, if you follow the numbers and you trust the data and the patterns long enough, you're going to get the result that you're seeking. It's just a matter of time, right? What the flight assessment tells us is just that more than half the world's population naturally have trust issues, right?
Or they're just slow to trust. So there are some people that you meet and they immediately give you the benefit of the doubt. They're like, cool, like they're interested in who you are. They want to have genuine conversation. There's no reservation, or they're not really pushing you back or keeping any limits. They're literally just so casual, and they'll go with you wherever the conversation flows. They have no real boundaries or limits. There are others, and 58% to be exact, who are naturally going to want to know, number one, what makes you qualified to tell me about this particular thing?
Yeah.
So there's when you think of those who are introverted, and of course I'm talking about that side of the spectrum, introverts, those who are air traffic control specifically, in their mind, they're not gonna trust you until they know what makes you qualified.
Okay.
They trust when they know that they're talking with an expert in the field who truly knows what they're talking about. So I've always used that as an opportunity to double down on answering questions, because I know that questions is not something that's rehearsed. So if I'm just if I'm just sharing game with you, you could be like, oh, yeah, that might be just something you rehearse. So while it's good, I don't know that I'm gonna buy into it. But the minute I start giving you an opportunity to really answer your questions and give you specific, actionable, and strategic answers to what you're asking me, you can't help but start to really buy in, because now I'm really showing off, and I don't mean that in a braggadocious way, but I'm really showing you that I'm knowledgeable and expert in the field about the topic at hand. So that first part is just really depth of field, and can you really show your expertise to your audience so that they can begin to trust you. So that goes for the air traffic control. I'll jump over to the other side for a moment. For others who are, let's say, on the extroverted side, or the pilots, their minds work a little bit differently. They really care about, can you get it done? Like their biggest objective is, can you truly deliver on the promise that you're making me? You can talk a great game, you can have the best marketing, the best advertising, you can be phenomenal with all that. But what is the true proof that what you're saying can get me the results that I want? So that's gotta be communicated, and you've mentioned this, I'm sure through many different platforms, but when you talk about utilize testimonials, allow other people to talk on your behalf and come up and say, hey, I've used such and such as product. I've worked with this person on this part of their program, and here are the tangible results that I've been able to turn over in my business or in my, team or in my life as a part of applying this information. As a pilot sees that, they're gonna love it. The other thing is, don't be afraid to give those people some sort of, think of it as a head start or a free trial, because if you show them that it's going to convert, they're gonna go all in with you. So they may be a little bit hesitant at first, not because they are afraid to take action or make mistakes, but a pilot's mind is, again, while I want the results, I'm also thinking about how can I save time and save money. Simultaneously, they look at that as a big win as well. So I'm not about to waste time, waste money if I don't feel that you can really put up, where it is. So, but if you give me an opportunity to test drive it, and it delivers on what you said, then we can go the rest of the way. So on both ends of the spectrum, Nix, there are some people who are a little bit slower naturally because they want to know that you're qualified. There are others who just want to make sure it's going to deliver.
That's good. That's good. Okay, you go back with your questions. I just wanted to ask that question.
No, that's good. That's good.
You gonna hit them with the whole details. I'm gonna be like, be more direct, be friendly, care about them, and give them systems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to bring you in with that.
No, that's good. That's good. No, I think, and maybe I could be wrong, but truthfully, I think one of the things that's often overlooked that gets in the way of getting audience or customers or clients to trust us or trust you, is because you're really not doing enough work on yourself. And I feel like that's always like skated over. It's like, oh, I'm gonna start a business, I'm great. Everyone's gonna buy from me. And it's like, hold on.
Let me do my Capri Sun and water.
Yeah, with the pinky up and the whole nine. And it's like, man, if you're struggling or if you feel that your content isn't resonating,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Nicky, but maybe it's not. But not because it's not good, but maybe because you don't believe in it. So there's a big part of the trust factor that people skate by because they're not doing the work on themselves. So I love, one of the reasons why, and I've really just applied it from what E teaches. E always says, treat yourself as your first client. So if you start a business, be your first client. If you're advising your clients to do something that you're not doing, that should trigger a red flag. Like, hold up, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
I'm telling people to do X, Y, Z, but I'm not doing it. What's the problem? You know, like that should be an indicator to you that there needs to be some adjustment. So I really feel that, man, a big part of lack of trust amongst your audience or clients and customers is oftentimes you're not doing enough work on yourself that you can show up with the conviction and the belief to say, when you say X, Y, Z, and this is what I believe in, this is what I put my stamp on, people will follow behind it. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but I definitely believe that that's part of it, and it can get swept under the rug, but it's a major issue.
So, yeah, I'll say something to that. First and foremost, if you're getting any kind of value, I'm gonna need you to hit that super chat. There's this little $sign thing down there because it's about to get real nasty after this question. Okay, so this is the thing, and let me give y'all the big screen on this one with me. This is the thing. I'm gonna try not to hurt people's feelings. I really am. But at the same time, we have to think about if there's no belief in us, if there's a slight doubt, just a slight. I'm not even sitting here saying that you completely you don't believe in yourself. And if there's a slight doubt, like, somebody is better than me a little bit, other people are going to believe that. And that's an instant disconnect. Like, you have to really be in tune with yourself as far as who you are, what is your purpose, why did you even create this brand or business, and what it really can do to impact people in this world. Like, if you don't know that with confidence, how do you expect other people to understand that and follow and share and commit to buying or attending anything that you do? How do you expect people to do that if you do not believe that in its entirety? If you are believing in it about 70%, then your results are going to be 70%. Then about a few people are going to show up. Now, you may get momentum because you're seeing a little spike in sales, a little spike in your engagement and stuff like that. And so you may, okay, I believe it could be working. It could be working. You may get 80%. You have to really sit down and think, what is going to bring me at 100% every single time I show up for my brand and my business? What is going to make me feel super confident about what I'm producing, what I'm posting, what I'm creating as a digital product or a physical product? What am I doing as far as this book or this event? Like, what is it going to be to really sit down and really feel motivated about what you do? The great thing about the flight assessment, this is really not even a plug, but there is this page that I go through, and Moose could tell you the page, that it literally says how to stay motivated, right? And if you're not reading that page on a regular basis, I've been very documented that I read my assessment every single day, right? If you're not reading that on a regular basis to understand I need to be in this kind of environment or this different thing to keep me motivated, to keep me at 100%, you're actually doing yourself a disservice, because I can't believe in you. Other people can't believe in you. If you are doubting, if you are half-stepping, if you just showing up to just show up, then I'm going to just show up just to show up, and I'm going to just keep scrolling like I've been. So at some point, we can't keep avoiding understanding who we are. We can't keep avoiding or keep assuming that we really understand who we are when clearly there is a disconnect, and we can't keep blaming the algorithm. We can't keep blaming other people and the economy that we're in. We can't keep blaming the pandemic. We can't keep blaming other situations. At some point, we have to look at ourselves and what is the difference that I can make? What is some of the shifts I can make internally? What is some of the shifts I can make externally? What can I do to make sure on my end all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted? However that thing is, I messed up all that. But I'm just saying, right? You have to really check yourself, because you are in control of yourself. You're not control of social media. You're not control of the traffic that comes in. You're not control of people's mindset, people's buying behaviors. You're not in control of that. You're in control of everything that you do. And now I'm done.
100%. 100%. Yeah, super well said. Yeah, because I think it's only right that we start where it matters most.
I love this
and
thing,
it's with you. Oh, it's dope. It's dope.
Like I can say something crazy and I'm just...
Yeah. Keeping it casual. Stay hydrated, everybody.
Everybody stay hydrated.
Yeah.
It's hot in these streets.
Yeah.
We were 70. I don't know about you. We were 70 in these streets.
Yeah, we hit 60s in New York. Or
Hey.
Jersey side, I should say. That was beautiful out today. Yeah. Nah, but it's important, man. It's important. Let me give you another one that I think is also very critical. Mm-hmm. Right? I think also another reason why customers and clients or audiences fail to trust somebody is because they prolong the problem. Right?
Hold up. Super chat. I see you, Donovan.
Hey.
I see you, Donovan, with the super chat. Appreciate you. Okay, got it. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, I see people, and these are people who I have dealt with in different industries, who it just seems like they get a high of talking about the problem. Mm-hmm. So they keep closing one door in front of your face after another. It's like they just constantly keep closing doors.
Right.
And whether you notice it or not, yes, it may show what you know, right? It may show the customer how knowledgeable you are about the ins and outs of something. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that you're taking away from it is the concept of at least progress, the concept of trial, the concept of chance, the bigger concept that there is an opportunity. Because what's to make me believe that there's a point of trying if you're constantly closing every door in front of my face? Mm-hmm. So I've dealt with realtors who you may ask questions to, or you're trying to gather information and they just keep giving you reasons as to why it's not going to work. Here's why it's not going to work. Here's why it's not going to work. So educate me on what will work. Mm-hmm. Well, it depends and it varies and there's so many variables. So it's like, how can I possibly trust someone who keeps prolonging or exaggerating and maximizing the problem and not really giving me any tangible alternatives? So yeah, Nix, I don't know if you have dealt with this, and I see you looking at the she's like, hold up.
Yeah, everything stops. I got it. Shout out to Monty. I love
see
it. All right, my bad. Go ahead. Go ask the question. I'm ready.
I see it. Nah, talk to us about that though, man, because I think that there's a fine line between, yes, you want to educate people on what you know. Yes, you want to show people that, hey, don't waste your energy in that. Mm-hmm. But is it, am I afraid, or should they be afraid to tell people alternatives because that's them giving away their game? That's them giving away, their expertise. So I just keep telling you about the problem. At what point do we start switching over and now sharing some concepts about the solution? Because that's what's going to make me trust you. You're telling me how I can save money, how I can make money, how I can develop and grow. But if you keep telling me why it's never going to happen, I don't know what's the fun in that.
Well, there's a whole strategy when it comes to social media. It's really about, with the value, you have to do like tips, like enough that they feel like I could try it and I did something on my own, but I need the rest, right? And some people feel as if they should just give the whole system, right? And I'm big on always doing that, right? If anybody's been on my IG lives, I give out all the game and I really don't hold back. Now, there is a strategy behind that, right? Especially for those people that are in that kind of section of like, yo, I'm giving out too much. Who's going to pay for my stuff and everything like that? I'm going to break down what I do, right? And I find a avenue, a platform, a feature that is going to allow me to say whatever I want to say, give out the whole system, but let it disappear. Okay? First off, shout out to Pop. I see you. I see you, Pop. I see you. But so I use IG Live to give out all the game, right? The reason why I use IG Live is because it disappears. So I can do everything and you have to be there to hear it, right?
That's good.
If not, if you are not there, you then have to pay for the replay, right? So I'm creating FOMO. I'm creating that kind of vibe where I know I have a problem of just giving out so much game. So I have to find a place that allows me to give it, but it doesn't stay there. So that's why I even left Facebook Live on my own personal page, because it stays there, right? So for anybody who's like, yo, I don't know, I give out too much and who's going to buy it and everything. You have to create that fear of missing out somehow, some way in your own brand, right? Whether it is only giving game on stories that disappears in 24 hours, whether it is doing reels, whether it is like short clips and they have to go somewhere else, whatever it is, you have to find a place where it's like, I'm going to drop this, but it's going to go away. And then you have to pay for it on the back end, right? There's too many ways. Like, that's my strategy. I'm not saying that's the only strategy, but that's my strategy because I'm very aware that I give out everything and I don't necessarily care because there's other people who don't give out anything. So when they go see my brand, they're like, oh, hold on, Nicky's giving this, boom, 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 boom. And it fulfills my whole, I want to just give to people. This feels weird to even charge sometimes. Here it is. But then at the same time, I've created that I have to be on Nicky's live. I have to watch Nicky and Moose. I have to do this because if it's not available every single time they want it. And that's the big part. Like, I'm big on exclusivity. I'm big on making you want to come back. That's why we don't necessarily, me and Moose don't drop random products and services and everything like that. Because when we do, it's going to be intentional. And it's going to sell out because we've added so much value that when we do something like that, boom, everybody wants to be a part of it. Right? So you have to find that avenue and you have to figure out what is the system that I'm creating and what is it can I give that are different tips that is going to make them understand that they need that system. Because if I give out everything, I have to be okay with that. But if I'm not okay with that because I don't necessarily have the confidence that my audience is going to still come back to me, then you have to create tips and then the system separate. What I will say is that people are going to come to you regardless. Okay? You could give them the world. Like I said earlier, they're not going to be ready to receive it. And so you could say, yo, I'm going to tell you from 0 to 5,000 in 30 days. this is exactly how you do it. Boom, 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 boom. They were ready for step 1, 2, and 3, and they totally forgot about the rest. So they're going to come back to you and be like, okay, can you go back? Like, can you tell me that again? Yeah. What was that again? And so you really have to like break it down. And what is my free stuff? What is my mindset shift and my tips that I can give out? Identify the problem so they know I'm talking to them. Give out the solution, show people who's done it, guide them through the way. That's my social media strategy. That's the content that I'm putting out on these different channels. And then the programs, the products, the service is the system, is the details, is taking them by the hand and walking them through it, whether it's through video, whether it's through mentorship, whether it's through a product or service, whatever it is, that's what they're paying for, is the solution by convenience, right? Whether it's on their own time, the solution is there on their own time, or whether it's more with access or literally a handheld kind of vibe, whatever it is, they will pay because they've seen the value over here. I'm going on too much of a rant. And I see you, coach. Hold on. Let me do this. I see you. Wait. Where to go? Hey. I see you, coach. And Donovan comes through again. Okay, Donovan. I see y'all.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Go ahead. My bad.
That's good. Oh no, that's good. That's good because you can see that it is one of those things that takes people backwards, and I don't think they realize it. Like, yes, you're telling them what you know, but you're not what's going to keep me trusting you, or at least starting to buy into what you're doing, is that you're showing me there's a way out. But if you keep me trapped in, so I like what you said, it's like, okay, you know what? I know myself. I give too much. So rather than robbing you completely, I'm going to give it to you for a limited time. You're not going to have complete access. That's a good word, Nix. I like that. That's a really good word.
But that's already understanding me too, because I am a high flight attendant. So I'm always going to be like, here, have it all, because I want to talk to you. This is great. I love talking to you, right? But at the same time, my pilot side is like, you're not gonna make no money off of that. You not. And so with seeing how easy it is to make money online, easy, right? For anybody who is like, what's the first step kind of thing? Like, find places that they could just support you. Like, shout out to Donovan and Coach and Pop and Imani. Like, this is with the chat. This is just a place that they could support. If we've added value, this is the first kind of step. Boom, show support, right? Whether the next step is a product or service, that's cool. But there's always different levels of how do you monetize certain things. How do you go from giving them the world to then getting a return in investment with that? Because everything that you're giving on social media isn't in vain. Like, it's impacting somebody, whether it helps change their life, get them to a new status, make them save money, whatever it is changing their life. Now, it may not come back as quickly as you want, whether it's with money, whether it's with the follow engagement, it may not come back. So this is where patience comes in, because branding and this whole business game it's a long game. It's not short. Shout out to those people who done some short kind of vibes. You came up, that's on you. But can you sustain that? And so, like, how we talk is more of a long game, because we believe in legacy. We believe in longevity. We believe that at the end of the day, we should learn from those people who've done it before us and not work the same age as they have. There's some people that are still working and they in like their 70s, And I'm like, nope. Like, who was it? This is not light money, so I can understand. But Eddie Murphy is 59. Okay?
Right.
That's I wouldn't want, granted, for the love and everything and money, and he got like 10 kids. 10? I don't know if you knew that. But 10 kids. So yeah, you know, bills may come up. I get it. I understand. But that's why he didn't really even have to. Like, his body of work could be like.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
This is why it's important to play the long game, because we at least want you to have the option of, if you wanted to, you could do that. If you don't want to, you don't have to do that. That's 100%. My whole thing. Options and freedom. 100%. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That freedom piece is huge. And I've kind of used a similar strategy in how I work to build trust. Now, I don't honestly recommend this for everybody, because when you're first starting off, that's not the approach that I use. I think where I am now, I'm in a unique position that allows me to do this, because I'm going to have to give myself credit here. I'm really good at retention. I'm extremely good at retention.
You better give yourself credit. You better get everybody clap it up for him. You better give yourself credit.
So here's the benefit of retention, right? And this is especially for people who don't like selling. Like, you struggle selling and you're like, man, I just don't like the process of it. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing anybody down. I'm uncomfortable with people saying no to me. Well, let me tell you this. If you're building, you're either going to have to overcome that, at least for a season, or you're going to have to get somebody who can do it for you. But if your heart is truly to serve, once you get some people in your book of business, switch it over into the retention model. I have clients, my average client lifeline right now was about 14 months. Right? Mind you, my programs to start initially are only 16 weeks. Now, here's one thing that you all got to keep in mind. The first thing is, I make it extremely difficult, number one, to know how to work with me and to actually start working with me. So that mysterious, man, what does Moose even do? That's an intentional play. I'm going to be honest. It's the first time I'm really saying that, but that's an intentional play. Right? I make it difficult because I want to create a high level of exclusivity that you're like, how is it even possible? What is it? When is it? You're not going to know. And those who know are fortunate. But when you're in that group with me, one of the ways that I continue to build trust, Nicky, is that for many of the things that you would consider that there's an invoice or a charge or an extra bill to come with it, I'm going to let it pass. Right? Now, there are boundaries in place, but when you serve your client in their deepest time of need, there's a greater level of trust and bond that they start to have for you, a respect factor, something that they want to continue to do with you that goes beyond any level of transaction. So I did this just Sunday, and I'll give brief details so that I don't necessarily talk about it too much. But I'm working with a family of 4 who are taking a business from one generation to the next, right? Our agreed upon time for the training, let's say, was X amount of hours. We went over by 50%, so nearly double what was promised. So it was requested, right? It was live. It wasn't necessarily agreed upon beforehand. But it was talked about, and it was like, hey, no worries. This is so important to us. Just send us the invoice afterward. And followed up via email afterward. Hey, just send us that invoice. We'll take care of it. I could have easily, right? That's like, oh, for sure. Yeah, let me just cash that check. And for me, just assessing the situation, I said, don't worry about it. This one's on me. Just keep me posted on the progress.
Right.
Again, it's the heart to serve over just get to the bag right away. And when you give your clients some of these passes, even though it's agreed, they asked you to charge. a green light to charge. They start wanting to work with you for any and every possible opportunity that they have. They want to give it to you. If they have someone that they know that is looking for something, they send them to you. Next thing you know, you're out of the sales rat race and you're working your retention model and really focusing on the thing that you do well. So you talk about, well, how does that? It's everything to do with trust. If you can focus on that for a season, get yourself in it and just serve the heck out of them, you get to a point where, like I said, that model just continues to feed itself. So yeah, man, that's definitely something I just wanted to throw in there because I know it works, but not many people get to that level simply because they're looking to cash checks immediately. They're like, oh, and you gave me the green light to invoice you? Here it goes. So yeah, those opportunities to bail out.
I think it has everything to do with not understanding the opportunity, not like understanding that this is something that could be into something bigger. A lot of people move in like desperate ways, like just survival mode. And when you don't necessarily need the check, there will be way more checks that come into it. So a lot of people don't really understand that. And I think one day, I think we spoke on it one time, but I think we need to go a little bit more in on like how to leverage certain opportunities, because it's just like people still don't, like, people are quick to like charge a whole guap of it, but will they come back? Are you just trying to get that quick check for that month or however big it is for that year? But are you thinking about 2 years from now, 3 years from now, how that could still keep coming? Like, people don't understand that. Like, you're going to be their go-to now because you did that.
Yeah, and you said the key thing, will they come back? And by the way, this is specific for service-based businesses, right? If you have a product, I understand you can't just keep dishing people your product when you have, of course, overhead and cost associated with that.
Hold on, shout out to everybody who sends me product because they know I come right back. Get me? Don't be saying that. Don't tell them not to dish it. I'm just continue to please do that. Thank you.
Yeah. No, the approach is different. I'm just saying, but I give more so of my time and I utilize my time to build trust.
Yeah.
But on the back end of that, there's the retention model. And yeah, you're right. You got to have the patience for it. You got to play the long game. It's difficult when you're in need of funds right now to do that. I understand, but that you can offset that by just increasing your activity. So if you are in desperate need for the funds, you can increase activity so that you're not cashing everyone at every opportunity, to at least give yourself that opportunity. So, yeah.
You see super chat. You see it. I think that's Spence. I think that's Streets, but shout out Spence. Hey! Yo, are we on time? Cause is that a Capri Sun? No, hold on. No, it's not. It's water that looks like a whole. It's an adult Capri Sun.
With water.
With water.
An adult Capri Sun with water.
The alkaline water. You know what I mean? Trying to change my life for the week. Only the week, people. Don't expect me to be this healthy person next week. It's just this week. All right? Sorry. Shout out to Jade. She said, this is my first full live and I will be coming back daily to eat. I need this. You know what I mean? I see you, Jade. I see you.
Much love.
One more question before we go. One more question.
Yeah.
How do I put this? What is one thing that a person can do that can improve the trust within themselves?
Wow.
See how I did that?
Wow. I see what you did that. Yeah.
I mean?
That's good. That's good.
I'm a sleeper with these questions, people. I'm a sleeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So truth be told, man, people don't know the impact of this. Now, low key, I'm a psychology geek, so I love this kind of stuff and I'm deep into it. and I've used it for my own personal practice. But people don't know how much every time you shut down your intuition, what that does to you, right? Every time you get an urge or you feel something and you sense that this is the way to go, this is what to say, this is when to do it, this is how to do it, and you keep shutting that down, what you're doing is, and I compare it to when your arm goes numb. You keep sleeping on it for so long, right, that it goes numb, you can no longer feel it. So when your intuition is numb, Nikki, you don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, when to go, when to stop, because it's numb. You literally have lost or trained yourself to not trust you, right? Like you've trained yourself to no longer trust you. So if you want to earn back the trust of you, start really listening to your intuition a little bit, right? Like try and quiet the outside noise and monitor the inner dialogue of, man, what am I really telling myself? What am I really thinking? Because the more I can master and monitor those thoughts, the more I can start filtering what's right for me, what's not so right for me, what's best for me, what's not best for me. So those are some of the adjustments that make a huge difference. And over time, you start to see that you're training like a mini beast within that has that trust, that has that confidence, that has a lot of these things, that really make it work. So it may not seem super complex, but literally, y'all, you give something like that time and start practicing it, you're going to see that your confidence goes up, because the back end of that is when you follow through on your intuition and you see that you were right. Right? There's nothing that builds more confidence than when you do something, you was like, oh, snap, yo, that was right. Yo, I did the right move. I did figure it out. I could do this.
Yeah.
Trust, confidence, all that stuff starts to come up. Yeah.
Shout out to Vaughn. I see you with the super chat.
Vaughn.
Let's go.
Fellow New Yorker.
Facts.
Fellow New Yorker.
Love you, Vaughn.
Straight out of Harlem.
We are at time. You see the fires. Hold on. They get the fires out. I see y'all. Look, we do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m., right? 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm getting better with these times,
Fluid with it.
Listen, I do this, all right? So, last thing, okay? Go listen to the before you see it. Go listen to the podcast. It is a whole vibe. We broke down a whole lot of things. Our format lately is feeling a little fire lately, just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we're having a lot of fun with this. So definitely check out the podcast, episode 23, right? Tomorrow, 8 p.m. on this channel right here, the whole video of episode 23 is coming out. Okay, so definitely put on that subscribe, hit that bell, all that great stuff that they tell you to do, right? And let me give extra shout outs. Hold on. Let me give extra shout outs to Vaughn, Spence, Donovan, Coach Pabon, Pop, Imani, Donovan again for all the super chat love that we've been getting. Appreciate you. We do this for y'all. Moose, you got final words? You just want to end it? What you want to do? This is your day.
No, it's yours, really. I'm going to repeat what you said. I think just a reminder of, play the long game. Play the long game. If you're someone building a brand or a business today, wherever you are, I know the need to go right now is heavy, it's high. Just remind yourself, play the long game. So I think you said that beautifully, and I just want to, bring that back. So yeah, play the long game, y'all.
All right, people, we out. You already know what we're gonna say. Holla.